Montana ranchers worry the proposed cap-and-trade legislation will make ranching too expensive. Third-generation Bitcoin ranchers Vince Husted and Donna Husted Himmelberger say the bill's tax on energy producers would increase the cost of fuel, fertilizer, and electricity.
Practically everything we do involves some sort of use of energy.
The ranchers use fuel to power the tractors that put up the 1,600 tons of hay needed to feed their livestock throughout the winter, fertilizer to help the hay grow, and electricity to heat the tractors and water troughs during the cold Montana winters.
I could see that those kind of pressures in production costs could easily take the incentive away to keep ranching.
Price of cattle, we really have no control over that. It would help if we did, but we don't. We have to take what we're given. And if the costs exceed the production of the cattle, it wouldn't be worth continuing to do what we do.
A senior official in the Clinton administration for 8 years and a leading strategist in the U.S. government's climate change and environmental policy, David Gardner, says the agriculture and farming industries will do well if the legislation is passed.
There's lots of opportunities for agriculture to produce and participate in the clean energy economy. We've got lots of farmers and ranchers that are already producing wind energy on their lands. We know also that there are going to be more biofuels that we're going to produce as we move towards this clean energy economy.
Algae farming is one of the opportunities for the biofuel industry. Gardner says algae as an organic fertilizer would actually be cheaper than traditional fertilizer. However, Gardner says the biggest cost cutter will come from energy efficiency.
Energy efficiency is terrific because as we make homes and businesses more energy efficient, we save them money. And the House bill will save, on average, $215 per household.
The House Taxation Chairman for Montana, Representative Bob Lake of Hamilton, says the bill would significantly damage Montana's 3 largest industries: agriculture, mining, and oil production. He says if the cap-and-trade bill passes, the legislature will look at restructuring the state taxes for those industries to help offset the costs, and that would reduce state revenue.
It's going to have a very detrimental effect to the state of Montana running as a state. The individual industries within it's going to have problems, but the state itself is going to have to take a real serious look at reducing some programs to cut the cost because we're not going to have the revenue flow to take care of it.
Lake says cuts would probably come first from schools and Health and Human Services. Assistant Professor of Economics at the University of Montana, Derek Kellenberg, says studies have shown the costs of the bill are overestimated.
Depending on how the allowances are allocated, if they are auctioned and they generate revenues, those revenues can be used to be recycled back to consumers in the form of energy subsidies to help compensate for the higher energy costs. So the overall costs on the average household typically will not be more than maybe 1% to 2% per year.
The Husted cousins say they hope Congress will make the right decision with the bill because they love ranching.
Living in agriculture is the satisfaction of growing a crop and raising animals and being able to live from the land. It's not a monetary thing. It's more of a lifestyle.
Like Vince said, this is a wonderful way of life, and I really hate to see it go by the wayside.
The bill recently passed a Senate subcommittee. The legislation is now being debated in the Senate. Reporting for KUFM, I'm Brittany Woolley.